Hello everyone, I'm bringing you a video today which was prompted by a comment on a recent upload asking whether I will be making a video looking at 1937 pattern cartridge carriers. Now I realise this is actually a fairly basic topic which I haven't covered on the channel previously. I did check back through and I don't believe I've covered this, so I thought it would be worth making a video while it's in my mind and obviously in response to that comment. So that's what we're going to have a look at in this video. So here we have the cartridge carriers we're going to talk about, a pair of them here, and very unremarkable pair. As you can see, they are worn and used, and they've been blancoed and scrubbed again at some point in the past, so I may well end up blancoing these again to tidy them up a bit, but we'll see about that. Just displaying them here as they came to me, as they are. On the right here, the right hand example is loaded with inert ammunition to show you what this looks like when it's carrying a full load of 20 rounds of ammunition, and the one on the left is empty, of course. The design was an addendum to the 1937 pattern after the initial components had been designed and approved. Cartridge carriers were introduced primarily for troops who didn't need the load carrying capacity of the basic pouches. And exactly who was issued these and in exactly what circumstances these were issued changed over time, and there were various lists of changes regarding this which are detailed over on Khaki Web, and I'll put a link down below to the Khaki web page detailing these because it's very useful there. Obviously there will have been some discrepancies with actual dates in practice, but you can see when changes were approved at least as to when and who these will be issued to, and that's quite useful. The basic design draws on the 1908 equipment, and it goes back I think to Web Equipment Royal Artillery if I remember from Khaki Web, which is quite interesting and not something I'm going to get into here, but the design through that goes back to the 1908 equipment, and the top row of cartridge carriers and the 1908 cartridge carriers, which of course have another row of 3 underneath. These are also smaller, so the 1908 cartridge carriers, each carrier will carry 3 charges, so 15 rounds per pocket if you want to use that term. These will only carry 2 charges, so 10, 20 and 40 across both cartridge carriers, with 2 being the number that was usually issued. So you can see the overall design there is very similar to those cartridge carriers from the 1908 equipment. You have 2 male press studs underneath the flap there, so you can close this on 1 charger if need be, or 2 charges, and you can see the loaded one on the right here shows that when you have 2 charges in these, you need to make use of the upper press stud there. Newy press studs, of course, these being British manufactured examples. So you have the 2 pockets on the front there. On the back you can see we have a built-in brace attachment stitched onto the back there, and you have the C-hooks here to attach this onto the belt in the same manner as the basic pouches, so the same basic fittings there. When this is fitted to the belt, the brace comes down, passes through the top, well the middle opening in the buckle here, then down through the lower opening, and then it passes through the ring here and down the back just as you would do with a brace attachment. And of course you have this top loop here in the buckle to take the hooks on the supporting straps for the haversack or the pack when carried on the back. So analogous to the basic pouches in that regard, in that you can hook and the brace attachments, of course, you can hook the L-straps, to use the colloquial term, from the pack or haversack into the top of these. Just have a quick look at the stamp in the flap on this. You normally find it on the left hand side as you look at them, and you can see here this one is, hopefully make out, is Miko Mills Equipment Company and dated 1940 there, as you can see. Fairly clear stamp in the flap there. And then if we open this up, you can see how the chargers fit in there, and I will remove these in a moment so you can see how the pocket works. But we can see there, just make out this is M, W and S Limited, not clear, and then 1940 something. It's not particularly clear even under the bright lights here, but in looking at this in different lighting conditions, you can sort of make out and interpret what was there, and the stamp is very faded in this one, unfortunately. If we remove the chargers, you can see inside there is a central divider in there, so one charger fits behind that and the other one fits in front, and these are all of course inert rounds, just to make that clear here for YouTube's sake, if for nobody else's. A little bit stiff this press stud. Oh, come on. There we go. Always plays up when you're actually trying to do something in camera. So that's the cartridge carriers. Not a very long video. They aren't a particularly sort of detailed bit of kit to look at, but quite interesting and a good option from a reenacting point of view. I suppose I'll mention this. If you're looking at doing early war and you can't get hold of Mark I pouches, these are a good stand-in, provided you're sort of representing troops who were issued them. So that's just a point to raise here. Quite useful from that point of view. And they were used, I think, sort of beyond their intended use. They were used in the immediate post-Dunkirk period in training and so forth for troops who would normally have had basic pouches because of a shortage of webbing. I think that did happen to a degree, although obviously that would have been corrected as soon as possible. So that's a quick look at these. As I say, not a huge amount to talk about here in terms of detail, but one thing I will mention is beyond the British examples we're looking at here, these were of course manufactured in other countries as well, in the British Commonwealth and Empire, and obviously Canadian examples. For example, the Indians manufactured a version that actually had 3 pockets. So post-war, you do see an Italian version of these that has 3 pockets, which is often missold as British. But during the war, the Indians did make a 3-pocket version. And you can see in a photograph here, I'll highlight, you can see one chap here does have these cartridge carriers, or an example of the Indian 3-pocket cartridge carriers, which do turn up from time to time. Interestingly, construction is fairly similar to the Italian examples, so perhaps some confusion there among some collectors. But the Indians did manufacture a 3-pocket version of these during the war, and that's an example in the photograph here. So I do hope you found this video interesting. As I said at the start, quite a basic bit of kit to be talking about really, but hopefully it nevertheless has been of interest. And obviously only looked at a pair of British-made examples here, but covered a little bit of the production of these in the Commonwealth and the Empire at large. So as I say, if you have found this interesting and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as I always say, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those 2 methods. It really is greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address in the description as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.